yeah, baby.
You're listening to Inside Real Estate, where we go deep into the minds of real estate professionals. Here are your hosts, Paul and Sal.
And Brad Weisgerber, how are you this morning?
Good.
Yeah.
I think professionals probably should get taken out of that.
Whatever, man. Salvatore Kuzmano, how are you this morning?
Good.
Yeah.
I'm doing good.
You got myself, Paul Pastelakis. We have a very special guest today, Mr. Keith Stonehouse.
Good morning.
From Franklin Title, also runs Michigan Real Estate Masterminds, a very talented dude, does a lot of stuff. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing well. I don't know how you got on the show. Keith woke up this morning with some problem with his eye. I don't know what's going on with that. We'll talk about that later. Some topics we're going to get into today. I do want to talk about potentially the political fallout of what's happening with our president and how that could affect our market, being an X factor that I don't know that we're really prepared for. I do want to talk a little bit about the market, our local market, how that's doing. I think it's some things are changing obviously, and people are adapting. And potentially, I want to try to get into a little bit about a lot of acquisitions that are happening in our business. A lot of people buying mortgage companies, which is really interesting. First and foremost, though, I want to get into Mr. Keith Stonehouse. Keith, why don't you give the audience a little background on yourself? You're an eclectic dude, a little weird, but other than that, man, I mean, you got a lot going on, so let's talk about it.
What a great intro. Well, we started a title insurance company in 2004 and have grown it over the years. We're in downtown Rochester. We cover the whole state of Michigan. We have clients in Traverse City, the UP, Tawas, Ann Arbor, Muskegon. We're all over the whole state of Michigan. Obviously, our main focus is southeastern Michigan. Our motto is closing anywhere, anytime. So we have hours and hours of stories to tell you about crazy closing times, locations, situations.
Sure.
At people's dining room tables, at bars, at tailgates of the truck, all kinds of closings for refinances and home purchases and sales. But I started Michigan Real Estate Masterminds about 5.5 years ago, with the intention of lining up real estate agents and mortgage loan officers and educating real estate agents to be better for their clients. And we meet now in 11 different cities every single month. Each chapter now has a president and a vice president. You were looking at the presidents over here, Paul and Sal, for the Royal Oak brand new chapter, which is at Hopcat.
Yeah.
The first Tuesday of every month.
Yep.
11:30 to 1 o'clock. And the topic coming up August 4th is social media for real estate. So
September 4th.
September 4th.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, gotcha, buddy.
Going back in time.
Yeah.
September 4th.
Only
and
if
we
we could.
Yeah.
just 1 month.
Yeah, just 1 month. It's cool, man. I'm good with that.
We'll go back August 4th, like 2006.
And I don't want to do that.
Right before the market
Yeah,
crashed.
yeah, I'm good on that.
I'd probably go back to 1989 and just start my life over.
Start your life over. You're a kid. Start your life over.
If you had a time machine, where would you go back to? So, yeah. So, Keith, obviously, I mean, you've had a lot of success, man. I mean, I actually knew about you before I knew you because you did a lot of great social media marketing, and I was like, who is this guy doing all this stuff? And it's kind of funny how the world kind of works. And we kind of talked over the years, and we just kind of got to know each other. And you presented us with an opportunity to basically become part of Michigan Real Estate Masterminds and actually run a chapter in Royal Oak, which we're really excited about. I think it's going to be a really good thing where we can add a lot of value, educate, and create a nice sphere of people that can actually rely on each other to count on in this group. And it's exciting what you've done, and you've really worked hard at it. It's not easy running a title company and doing this whole Michigan Real Estate Masterminds thing. How do you prioritize your day, man? Because you do a lot. I mean, no joke. You do a ton.
I get that question every day from various people, and it's all about a couple different things. One is delegation, letting go, understanding that other people have talents and things that they're good at that you don't.
Trusting your team.
Trusting your team. So Franklin runs itself now. Everyone has a sense of ownership in the office. Everyone has, they don't consider the clients my clients or the sales team's clients. They consider them their clients.
Yeah.
The processing team and the funding team and examining and all and whatnot. So that's a beautiful thing to get to that. So you can walk out of that office and say, it's running itself. I don't have to stress and worry about it.
Trust your team. That's good, man.
That's the most important thing. And with masterminds, I'm handing those off to presidents and vice presidents as well. So dignitaries or folks that have a sphere of influence in those particular cities. Yesterday we were in Ann Arbor. Today we're in Clarkston at Andiamo for lunch. Tomorrow we're going to be in Birmingham. And assigning those presidents and vice presidents frees me up to be able to grow more chapters, to be able to host happy hour mixers, charity events, Habitat for Humanity events. We're doing a boat outing coming up September 13th where we charter 2 boats, and the members are going to come out and hang out and network. So it frees me up to do that. But if I didn't have social media and an iPhone, or any phone really, there's no way.
No.
You look at 10, 15 years ago, there's no way I could get to where I'm at or doing what I'm doing without that technology, and utilizing it the right way all day, every day is the key to success.
Yeah, and that's something that we do have in common. And so we made a poignant effort in this when we started our business, that social media for us was like the path of least resistance. It's something we could do very quickly, very easily. Literally use your phone. I mean, it doesn't take a lot. I mean, I'm not great. I don't know what I'm doing. You don't know.
For
you don't know.
for the outreach you get, the cost is pretty low,
Yep,
right? And
absolutely.
you can create your own content.
Yep.
You can send it out whenever you like, and you get feedback right away. I mean, people see it and they comment, they comment bad things if it's not good, So I think using the technology around you to grow your business, as opposed to like fighting it or saying, I don't like all that, is the way you have to do things to progress.
So I'm super curious. You're huge on social media. I remember years ago, I'd constantly get requests and stuff from you and messages and hey, check this out. Do you do all of your own social, or do you have someone that does that for you now? Because I know you. I mean, you're a busy man, right? So
I do it all.
You do all of it.
I used to have a team that did it, but they weren't for the money. They weren't doing what I needed. They weren't producing what they said they could do. It wasn't coming from me. It was
That's
very
the biggest
robotic.
difference. That's the biggest difference. It's like when you, so I've thought about this. So I do a lot of our social, right? And it's my personality that I'm putting out there. And but for better or worse, like I want to represent myself the way I want to represent myself, which is not.
And you want to work with people that are like you,
right?
Gravitate to those kind of people.
So I worry about someday. I feel like we might have to someday give that out. I don't want to lose our personality of who we are as a team, but it's a fine line. But the one thing I will tell you that in our space, as like diluted as social media has gotten with a lot of real estate agents, title companies aren't utilizing social, and loan officers for sure aren't utilizing social on the scale that I think that you can, which is a really big play in my opinion, because it's like the barrier of entry is really low.
Well,
really low.
In the Michigan Real Estate
I'm
Masterminds,
into it,
I also teach courses all across the state of Michigan, and real estate boards hire me, and mortgage MMLA, and I've taught up in Grand Rapids and Traverse City and Frankenmuth and Troy and all over the place. And one of the things that I always talk about is, why do we spend so much time marketing to strangers, and all these software systems to market to strangers, and all these mailers to strangers, and all these opportunities to market to strangers, but we forget about the people that know and love us and trust us, and we're going to refer us and use us.
Dude, right?
Right, but we forget. Oh, they already know.
No,
I don't need to. I don't need to. That's where social media can be utilized correctly.
Yeah.
It's not marketing to strangers. It's marketing to the people that you went to high school with, college with, your old neighbors, your old careers, your old volleyball league, your old softball league, whatever.
Yeah.
Staying in front of those folks, because they're your referral sources. But every time I talk to somebody, they go, "Oh, I don't want to bother them. They already know what I do." No, they don't.
Right.
They forgot.
Right.
They need to be your advocates. They need to represent you and send you business.
Yep, absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about the changing marketplace in the title industry. Just a little bit, real quick. I want to touch on this because it has changed. Back in the day, there was a lot of refinances, right, Sal? So, title companies would kind of market to guys like us, like loan officers, where, look, if you've got refinances, we could choose who we're using. Well, now that the refinance market is really much different, and purchases are really controlled and delegated really by the real estate agent, we don't have a lot of control over who we send our title to. With that being said, also, every Tom, Dick, and Harry mortgage brokerage, real estate brokerage right now, owns their own title company, because they want to make some money off of it, right? So in a situation where you're losing a little bit of market share to people that are opening up their own, which, by the way, doesn't work, because every single one of them, for the most part, don't do a good job. They're horrible.
True story.
Because they don't know how to do it, right? It's a complicated thing, but they're just like, I'll open up a title company, right?
Yeah,
Sal?
well, can't say they're all terrible.
No, not
all.
all.
They get better, right?
They do get better, yeah.
But it's like,
They skip
like
out
any
on the
new
little
venture.
things.
Well,
anytime Dick and Harry can get a contract with one of the big title underwriters and issue a commitment, and It's the little
Well,
things.
and
It's the
primarily
service,
they
it's
do
the
their own
speed,
office's business.
Yeah,
Right. So
it's-
there's a certain way they're used to doing it. Let's say, for whatever reason, they do a deal outside of there. They might not be used to the way it's done, and
Right.
as opposed to an independent title company like that, they deal with different transactions, different offices, different lenders all the time, right? So they're kind of more versed and probably will see more things and more processes that are different than an in-house title company and a real estate office. But
Right. So the question to you, Keith, is in a market where you're getting competed against in-house title companies, the refinance market kind of going away a little bit or pulling back. How do you create a business model where you can work within that? Because you have to be nimble to be able to adjust to that, right?
Correct. Yeah, and we had to adjust with the market crash. And,
Yeah.
refinance obviously went down to zero at that point, and even home sales and purchases went down to zero. So we had to think fast. It was shut the doors or navigate through this, and what other options can you do? So we started working with law firms. We started doing deed work with law firms. We started working with major banks like TCF Bank, doing all their foreclosure guarantees, and then the foreclosures, and then when somebody sold them. So that was a 3-part process, 3 separate transactions. So that was a big moneymaker for us. We did some work with Comerica. We started working with for sale by owners, which I should never talk about. Yeah, you had to get creative.
got creative, right?
You had to get creative, and that's kind of the same thing now. Is refinances obviously are 92% dead.
Yeah.
Right. So we get a few every week or every day that we used to get 20 a day. Now we're getting 2 a day.
Yeah.
So not to say, okay, mortgage loan officers, I'm not. When the market comes back, I'll talk to you.
I mean, we're not doing nothing for you. Like,
Right.
There's nothing we got.
That's why I started ramping up Michigan real estate masterminds like I did, because the real estate agents need to understand education. They need to come out and meet folks. They need to understand and meet service providers, mortgage loan officers, get educated better in their craft. This month we're talking about new construction. We have a builder talking about the myths of new construction and what to build, how to work with a builder.
And that's what you do. That I think you do. You do add value and sell. This is a big thing. Is like when you bring in a professional to come speak to these people. That's a lot of value right there, right?
Well, and above and beyond that, I think if you look at who's doing business now, right, and which lenders are maintaining a high volume of loans and didn't really feel a slowdown, it's those who always focused on purchase business and adding value to real estate agents so that we can all work together, as opposed to, hey, rates went up and I have no business, but I do purchases too, right?
Right.
Agents are like,
Here I am.
kick rocks, bro. I got
Kick
my
rocks,
guy.
buddy. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, now you're pounding on my door. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to have some foresight to see what's coming up ahead of time, right?
Absolutely. And luckily, I learned from day
There's no
one.
luck, by the way.
There's no luck. Thankfully, I learned from day one that real estate agents were 70% of my business.
Right.
So instead of me saying, well, I'm getting a bunch of refinances, I'm going to push them aside and I'm going to focus on these guys, I understood from day one that 70 to 75% of my business was coming from real estate agents.
Right.
And when those 20, 25, 30% of mortgage loan officers were but that was a great time.
Right.
Yeah, you're getting that's icing on the cake,
Great.
right? Yeah.
Right, that's icing on the cake.
Right.
But the real estate agents, and let's cover the topic of the inside title insurance company. That's more prevalent now than it's ever been.
Yeah.
But yet, all the governing boards are saying that they shouldn't be doing it, and there's laws and rules and regulations saying they can't do it, but yet they're doing more of it. Nobody is jumping on it from OFIS or RESPA or any of these companies. But
Nobody's doing shit.
They're sending out all these newsletters saying stop doing it, it's illegal. But then they're saying we don't have the manpower to enforce it. We need you to enforce it. That's literally what they're posting now.
Really?
We don't have the manpower, so we need you to turn them in.
Who's you?
Everyone in the industry. So if you see somebody that's another mortgage person that's paying a bunch of money to be an inside mortgage person, $5,000 a month to be in or $10,000 a month to be in a real estate office, they want you to turn them in and say they're doing it illegal. Hey, look at them.
Yeah, so the audience
And they'll get
understands.
thrown.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think
18 months later.
that's not our job, and I think
Exactly.
right? Like our job is to
Help the consumer.
help the consumer, work with the people we work with, and do it the right way. And I'm not a policeman.
Yeah,
I
let's
don't
be
care.
narcs. Like,
Yeah.
let's we're gonna go around and narc on everybody that's
Yeah.
doing business. I'm sure our business will grow tons. Then, right?
Might as well
Every
put a
Thursday,
gun
I'm going
in
to go
my
around
employer's
and
mouth.
that's my Thursday schedule is go around and find illegal title companies.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Nobody's doing
Be a
that.
snitch all day.
So it's happening, and it's not being stopped, and it's something that so the audience understands there are rules and regulations against steering clients because it is up to the client what title company they use.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
in 99% of transactions, I mean, title's just ordered from the agent. I mean,
That's not even
The client's going to go
questioned.
with it.
and yes, there's definitely differences in title companies, but for the most part, the client doesn't interact with the title company until closing unless you're a seller. So it's kind of like to a title company, I think their biggest client is the agent and the loan officer, right? Like when we have bad communication with the title company, it's like, what?
Dude, I'm
is
gonna tell
going
you,
on?
yeah, I'm
You
gonna
know,
tell you
it's
something.
like, how is this so hard
Right.
to balance 15 numbers on a piece of paper?
Well, here's
you know?
here's
But
the deal
I,
that we're
I
running
don't know.
into. Here's what I'm running into. Like we write a loan because we close loans pretty quickly. And knock on wood, we do a good job. 14 days, right? All of a sudden, we got to clear title, dude. It shouldn't take longer to clear title than it does for me to do the mortgage.
Especially in Michigan.
And to the consumers out there, right, I would
Takes
say
more than
another
14 days.
probably 85% of the transactions,
Well,
I
they
just
don't
like
work
to
on
throw
it.
out these projections
Yeah,
and,
there you go,
and
Sal.
estimates,
Do
but
it.
are done by two title companies. So the seller's
Yeah.
side has a title company and the buyer's side have a title company. They both pull title on the property, right, and they make sure, and sometimes one title company will catch something the other didn't, right?
Yep.
We'll get clear title on our end. The seller's title company's not clear for whatever reason. We have to figure it out. We're scrambling last second. And then they also have to send their numbers over, right? Oh, well, for whatever
Buy
reason, it
side's gotta
took,
wait
you
for the
know,
sell side,
4
and-
days to get tax prorations, you know, or they got to get a payoff.
Or an HOA letter.
Yeah.
Listen,
That's common.
Having
you
split
know?
title is such a nightmare, and it's a practice that we do here in Michigan. It's not done all
All the
across the
time.
country.
I don't
doesn't
even
ha-
mind it as long as I just wish there was a better way to coordinate. And I guess that really comes down to the people working there. And like you said, if there's a sense of ownership, right?
Yeah, we don't have problems.
Yeah.
The only problems we have, to be honest with you, maybe this is unprofessional, the only problems we have is with other title companies that don't want to split,
Yeah.
that give my staff an attitude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like,
we want both sides of this.
Yeah.
Right. And our
We should've
team
got
is
both
Welcome to
sides.
the market.
Yeah.
It's
right?
unbelievable.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
what people do.
Where
I
have you
mean,
been?
everyone has their
It's not really up
You
to
know.
you. The consumer wanted to shop.
yeah, it's up
Right.
to the
Okay,
seller
yeah.
and it's up to the buyer essentially. And
yeah.
There's two title companies out there that are the worst to deal with on the split side.
You gonna
won't-
call 'em out?
That'll be
You gonna
off
call 'em
air.
out?
That'll be off air.
You gonna call out?
No,
Okay.
I could probably guess one
I
of
think
them.
we,
We'll talk
yeah,
later.
I think we'll.
We're definitely not going to bring that up.
You know, for us, and I think kind of for you and anyone who owns a business, you could have the best talent in the world, right, in your title company, but if they don't feel like they actually make a difference in there, or like that sense of ownership or the collaboration between parties,
And that's what
things
you get
fall
with
off
an
the track.
inside title company all the time because they're just transactional based.
Well, they
There's
hired
no
the best people to
relationship.
work there, right? Plucked them from elsewhere, but then they don't.
Or they're robots.
Well,
Literally.
hold on. This
Yeah.
is why it doesn't work, and I believe this wholeheartedly. There's no incentive to perform. You're given the business, right? There is no incentive to
Exactly.
perform. There's no repercussions if you mess something up. It's like
And
I
they're
get
dabbling. They're not masters of that trade. They're just dabbling in it. Right?
Well, it doesn't matter. The
And,
point of it
yeah,
is,
and
even
we
if you're
don't-
good at it, you're just like,
And we're painting with a broad brush here.
Broad
right?
brush,
I mean,
super broad.
yeah, I don't want to like anyone who's listening,
Jessica's
any agent
turning
who
me down.
owns their own title
Right.
company. We're not like picking that out singly, but I mean, you would have to imagine, right, if you have a big
What?
feeding tube,
Yeah.
right, and the food's just
Where we
coming
go?
in,
It's all
that
about food.
you're not like searching for deals, or
Yeah.
you don't, hey, if
You don't have to impress them. You don't have to wow them. You don't have to keep everything at
the
a certain
level
level.
of service doesn't have to be there because
Yep.
the business is coming. And I believe that with in-house lenders, I believe that with in-house everything. Like, if you're being fed business, again, broad brush, right? Absolutely broad brush, because there's good and bad and everything. But for the most part, what I've seen, you don't have to perform. Your people are just forced to use you, and you're like, whatever.
But nonetheless, like, and I believe this too because I see it all the time in our business and other people's business. Like those questions that come up at the last. What do you mean we don't have clear title? What do you mean we don't have the CTC? What do you mean? It comes down to, I think, a lot of someone in the deal usually needs to be the orchestrator, right?
Communicate, yeah.
I find on my side, just because we're like, the agent's not calling title, like,
We're
hey,
doing it.
what's
Right.
you need to change the CPL address on that, so it's like, okay, like as a loan officer, I think to be really good, you have to coordinate make sure, hey, we're going to be clear to close like a week ahead of time. Sounds like everyone wants to close early. Do you have the HOA status letter? Have you ordered it? Right?
Well,
Someone's gotta
I
drive the
always
bus.
say having a checklist. I have a checklist every morning when I wake up. My personal checklist, my business checklist, and I always have the staff all have checklists of things that they're working on per file and goals for the day. I don't think enough professional salespeople or professionals or owners have checklists or follow checklists, especially in a transaction. And going back to in-house title companies, I have a database of every client that I've ever gotten, and when you look, whether it's one deal or 1,000 deals that we've done together, if you look on the far right of my database, it says how I got that business, right?
The source.
The source.
We should do that, by the way.
And
We are.
the top 3 are referrals, well, in order. The top 3 are social media, Michigan Real Estate Masterminds, and referrals from real estate agents that have in-house title companies and they're frustrated.
Yeah.
Those are the 3. So if you look at all my top producing real estate agents that we work with,
Yeah.
they all have in-house title companies. Frustrated, they've used them for years to play as the team,
Drink the Kool-Aid.
drink the Kool-Aid, but then they call me out of nowhere and go, Keith, I see your stuff. You're bugging me all the time. I got a deal for you, and then we work together forever.
That is why it's so important to get in front of the people that have already used you, because you're fresh in their mind.
Yep.
Right. You're hitting me up all the time. I got to send you this deal.
You're next up.
You got to stay
You
in
wouldn't have
front
got
of
that
people,
deal if
yeah.
you wouldn't have been sending them stuff.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because I'm really excited about the masterminds that we're starting on the 4th. I do want to talk a little bit about that. We are going to have a really awesome guest. Talk about the guest that we're going to have on there. He's a social media guru. He knows his stuff. So talk to me about him, his like specialties, and what he's going to be able to offer the group when he talks to them.
Sure. So social media is a hot topic. I send out a survey every November asking the membership, what do you guys want to learn about? What do you want to hear about? What are you struggling with? What product? What service? What niche?
Yeah.
And I go out and I find keynote speakers based on those results. Now we host 11 a month, or 11 a year, 11 a month, but 11 a year. We don't do anything in December. I don't want to conflict with everyone's schedules
Yeah.
and holidays and family. So one of the main topics that always comes up, top 1, top 2, is social media. And it's worded always different in the survey results, but it's all social media,
Right.
So I do 2 a year now. I do 2 social media experts a year, 2 separate
Smart.
talks. So it's different information, different
Angles.
niches,
Right.
different angles. Mike Kovalevsky is with Homes.com and Ignite Social Media. He teaches this stuff all across the country.
Right.
I've met with him twice to put the presentation together, and he's like, "Oh, I got to leave here and I got to go to Indiana. I got to leave here and go to New York." Oh, okay.
He's legit.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
Yeah.
And he's putting together a PowerPoint presentation. He's going to go over. He's going to have hands-on worksheets that keep you informed and keep you paying attention. And when you write something down, you retain like 82% more than you would if we're just talking.
Right.
So I told him, I said, make sure that you have that. He's going to talk about the fundamentals of social media. Nothing is 101 in this presentation. So if you're that older gentleman that's never really done social media and, well, maybe I should, this is not for you. This is, and I'll tell you that straightforward.
That's
this,
good.
This
Yeah.
is not for you. This is a little more advanced. This is for folks like us that are already doing it.
Right.
And hey, what's the next level?
Yeah.
That's what he's going to talk about.
How do I do it better?
And he only teaches and talks to real estate agents and mortgage loan officers for the last 20 years. Literally.
Yeah.
That's all he's worked with. So that's a beautiful thing. The other social media expert, he deals with everything from spas and car dealerships and everything else. This guy is actually just real estate and mortgage loan officers and puts programs together for folks. So it's going to be great.
A lot of value. Have some lunch. We sit down. We talk about this guy. Now, do you have to be a member to be part of the group? How does that work?
No, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
So we also, real estate agents talk about their listings, their pocket listings, their price drops, leases, and they talk about the buyers that they're working with. So we go around the table. They have a moment to talk. There's note sheets out in front of them. And they say, I have a listing in Royal Oak for $300. We're about to drop the price to $280. Or I have a listing that's about to hit the market in Ferndale. I have a lease. I have a commercial property, whatever it may be. I have a buyer looking for a home in Brighton, has to have a finished basement, whatever. And we always match 3 to 5 per lunch across the table.
And I think people undervalue how important that is. And sometimes people, I think, especially agents or listing agents, are like, I don't really want to tell. I want to try to double dip that, right? Why would I give away 3% of my commission to someone else, right? And it's like, chances are you're going to anyways, right? And it's funny because a seller reached out to me yesterday and was like, I can't sell my house.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked, and I was like, well, what are you thinking about dropping it to? Blah, blah, blah. Paul called someone. I called someone. I mean,
Probably
I
going to
think-
get it sold.
Yeah, probably going to make it happen.
So-
and everyone's going to probably still get their commission.
And the
Good
point,
job.
I think the point of that is when you have a network, the people that you can you should have a network. Don't feel like you've got to do it all on your own. And that's the beautiful thing about Michigan Real Estate Masterminds. It's a community of people that all kind of help each other out because we're all kind of in this fight together. And on top of that, you get value from the speakers that are going to be there. You're going to get knowledge. So I like the way that it's set up because we're adding value and connecting people. There's like nothing more
Yeah,
important.
you
than
have to plug into networks to get fed.
Yeah.
Right, and you mentioned you have to be a member. No, you don't have to be a member to attend because I don't expect folks to get a membership that haven't attended.
Yeah, let's
Right.
to test it out. Let's figure out if you like it.
Come to 3. You got to max the 3 before you make a decision. You go to the website, MichiganRealEstateMasterminds.LLC.com. You can click on Join Us and check out all the information on all the membership packages. You can find all the lunch and learns there, all the information. It's also a directory website, similar to a Angie's List or there's other ones out there, where folks around here, home buyers and sellers, can find local Royal Oak, Detroit, Rochester loan officers, real estate agents, builders, home inspectors, appraisers, all those kind of things. They can go on in the directory and find local folks, and it provides a bio for them, contact information, headshot, so they can see he's ugly. I don't want to use him.
Well, and I think if you go to
get no
3 of
business then.
them and you don't get any value out of it,
Don't go anymore,
You
yeah.
shouldn't join, and
Right.
you probably
Bingo.
didn't bring any value from yourself
Bingo.
to begin with, right?
Right.
So people aren't interacting with you.
I don't see how you wouldn't get any value out of it. I mean,
Well-
our business is it's a social business.
I know as a loan officer,
It's a
I've,
social business.
I've gone
Absolutely.
to
Yes.
I don't even know what they call them, like YBNs or whatever.
Yeah.
Those like business networks or whatever, local,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Oh, LBNs, a B&Is.
Yeah,
and-
whatever. I
yeah.
went to a couple of those like introductory meetings, and they're like, it's 500, and you know, if you want to come to another one, you got to do this, and it was just like an introduction. I mean, it's like a big, huge pyramid scheme, and I'm like,
right.
but I've met people there that I've done business with. I have like 4 or 5 people that I probably closed 20 loans just from going to one meeting and talking to people there.
Wow.
And it's like when you're in an environment where you have all these different people who do the same thing you do, and or on the other side of it, real estate or mortgage. I mean, you can definitely connect with people that will send you business.
I'm
and
glad you
continue
brought that
to.
up because there is a lot of interaction. There's a lot of people that come in kind of leery. You can tell.
Yeah.
I don't want to network with people in the same business. But a lot of loan officers do a lot of business with each other
Yeah.
because I don't offer new construction, but he does.
Right.
Right.
I can't deal with that credit score, but she can.
Yeah.
I see it every single meeting, and it's the
Right.
reason that I'm growing this is because of stuff like that.
Well,
I
I
love
went
it.
to a lunch yesterday with PNC loan officers,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's like, well, it's stupid, but it's like, well, we're not super competitive in jumbo, right? And they can't do these certain loans under this credit score. Well, I could do that, right? And chances are if I send them $1 million loan, I'll probably get $1 million worth of people they can't do. There's probably
Correct.
a lot more people who can't get loans than can.
So yeah, dude,
or
this
at
business
least
is
get jumbo
all
loans.
about meeting everybody everywhere. We've got a meeting next week with a group that actually owns another mortgage company, right? Like they do a good job, but like we're like-minded people. You never know. You never know what'll happen. So meet everybody. Like
You can't be a recluse in this
no.
business.
No.
You
And,
can't.
and a lot of times people go to these meetings and they're like, "Oh, it's kind of like going to be like, no, dude, it's going to be cool. It is what you're going to make out of it. You're
Yeah.
going to make friends. There's no way you won't find a way to increase your business some way."
And if you're that good of a loan officer, you're the best loan officer out there. You shouldn't be leery to
This
go to one
isn't
of these
the
because
Cold
this is your
War.
time to
It's
shine.
not like
right?
No.
Go
someone's gonna
brag it up.
spy
How
on
good
your-
are you?
That's
Yeah.
a great way to put it.
Let's yeah, we're all doing the same
Well,
thing. The pie's huge, guys. It's a huge
It's not
pie.
like we're
I
a
don't
whole
have
bunch of like
100% it.
Russian spies going to sabotage our businesses. Like
Whoa. Okay. Speaking of which,
the only person who can sabotage your business is yourself.
Very good. So, Keith, tell the audience how they can get a hold of you. If they need any help with title.
I
What you don't want you
I,
want
You're not
kind of have
Keith.
a question for
before he gets into that.
yeah, because I
Okay.
don't want to switch gears out of title
Sure.
yet.
Okay.
So we went to a thing with one of our primary lenders, United Wholesale, last week, and I guess Michigan in the past 2-3
Oh, yeah.
weeks has started doing virtual closings.
Oh, yeah,
where
e-closings.
they, as a title company, you can. Like a lot of title companies have contract closers and whatnot, and they utilize a service for their notaries, right? So if they sign up with this service, it's essentially a network of virtual notaries, and
It's like FaceTime. Yeah.
you
That
FaceTime
was
the
fucking
client with
weird.
the ID, and it's a notary, right? So you FaceTime, you e-sign your mortgage, and closing docs, right? The title company can upload their docs with the signatures, and that's it. You can close from your
their
home
house.
at like 9 p.m.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
anytime you want.
You don't like it. I feel like you're puckering your butt's.
Well, I don't
puckering
ever
up.
see it really working for a
Look at him.
purchase,
He's
just
not
because
like
there's
it.
so many parties and the realtors want to go. But for a refi,
For
I think that's
refinance,
awesome.
it may fly. Years ago, some major lenders really bought into this concept of e-signing, and the closers would show up with a laptop, right? So we had company laptops, and I would send the closers to sit in front of them and say, "Is this the correct document?" Scroll down, yes. Click here for your signature. Click here, yes. Click here, yes. That they'd still have to sign the mortgage. They'd still have to sign like 6, 7
It's
different
different now.
documents.
It's totally
things that
e-sign
needed-
now.
Right. That never caught on. It lasted for about a year. Some of the major lenders really grabbed onto this, and we did too. But it lasted about a year and a half, and it completely went away. The borrowers hated it.
But
Well, I
people
think
want the
ult-
human touch.
But
man.
I think ultimately, above and beyond that, in that process, it's like, well, I still got to sign 7 or 8 docs. You might as well sign them all.
And that's
right?
kinda where
you
it
have to
went.
go to the closing anyways. This allows you to
sign all of them.
You
sign everything
E-recording,
from your
everything.
home.
Now I can see the millennial age loving this because
Oh, yeah.
they're
Which-
too busy, and that will be perfect for what they're already doing. You know what I'm saying? I hate the
Yeah.
word. I hate the word busy. The word busy drives me nuts. We can have a whole segment about people that say they're busy.
I've got a lot going on, man.
Yeah. How you doing? I'm so busy. Don't ever say
know,
that.
you're not.
Stop.
Yeah.
You're not that busy.
Right. And it sounds terrible when you say, "All right, we're not going to go." there." But I can totally see that working for a small segment. I mean, with a refinance, I'm in the business, so for me, I would, and if I was refinancing my house, yeah, that's great. All right, I'll do that real quick. Done. I don't have to drive across town, get my wife to get out of her schedule. We have kids. Okay, now what do we do?
I mean,
So
and
in
these
that
mobile notaries work till like 9, 10 p.m.
Oh, absolutely,
So
yeah.
I think that would be great. I can't ever see it really working in a purchase transaction where you have a
Multiple,
seller,
yeah, it doesn't
realtors
work.
who want
It
to be
doesn't
there.
work. It doesn't
Funding confirmation.
What if
Not
one
yet,
of them
at
wants
least.
to
Not
pay
yet.
What if the
some,
wire's not there?
You know, so
Oh, man.
and you got to get keys, so you got to drive somewhere anyways. You might as well just drive to the closing. But
You can,
They're
I
not
can
going to have
see it.
virtual keys.
The smart homes these days, yeah.
You can overnight them. Yeah. So, we could talk about technology and how it's infiltrating our business a lot, but I don't believe that the
Well, I
human
just thought
touch.
that was an interesting.
Yeah.
I think
you
it'll
know.
be a small segment of the market. But
I
it's
just
not going to
don't
blow up
think
big.
the human element yet can be removed because it's too complicated of a transaction. A purchase is not an easy thing. It's emotional. There's a lot of moving parts. Nobody it'd be like going to, like you're on trial for murder and you decide to get like a virtual lawyer. What would you know, dude? There's a lot going on, right?
Yeah.
So tell the audience how they can get a hold of you, Mr. Stonehouse.
Yes. So FranklinTitleAgency.com, where you can go in and order title. You can calculate all title there. Click on the Get a Quote button. It'll give you transfer tax, recording cost, title premium, and title closing for that transaction. If you're a real estate agent, you can email that to your client, or if you are a home buyer or seller, you have that information in front of you. You can email me at keith@FranklinTitleAgency.com, or you can call me anytime, 248-894-4785. And don't forget the Masterminds website, where you can find a great local professional to help you buy and sell a home, like Sal and Paul, at Michigan Real Estate Masterminds LLC.com.
And please join us or sign up or get a hold of us if you want to come to the Masterminds event on
Just
the 4th.
show up. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to buy anything. Just show up to Hopcat.
I would like to know if you're coming on some level. If you want to show up, show up. But we have to have like a head count, don't we?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Just show up. You want people there.
All right, cool. All right, we have like a few minutes. I had some topics I want to talk about, but this was really good conversation. The only thing that I really want to get into, it's really shaking the political world, which we're not a political show, but I do believe that there's potential market instability that could come from this if something happens. So yesterday there was this whole indictment.
It's going to happen.
Hold on, dude. You're such a liberal, and I used to be like you, but like you've gone haywire. All liberals have. You guys are just lost your minds. Anyways, so there's going to be massive political fallout because the walls are starting to cave in on our Donald Trump. And listen, the market is doing well. The economy is doing well. There is security. The one thing that the market hates more than anything is the unknown. Is what's going to happen. Like, you can solve for something bad and you can solve for something good, but if you don't know what's going to happen, money's going to get pulled out and sit on the sidelines, right? Like, if I'm an investor right now looking at buying houses, I don't know if something crazy is going to happen. I'm going to chill out for a minute, right? So there's less investing happening. If, and I want to pose this question, if our president of the United States goes on trial, right, and basically gets impeached, what would that do to our market? Because I don't because our market right now is basing some of the success that it's having on his policies. You remove him from the equation, all of a sudden now the markets are like don't know what's going on. And then imagine this. Imagine, and I don't want to say like imagine if he actually goes to jail. Imagine having a sitting president of the United States actually in jail. That's not good.
Well, he wouldn't be the president anymore if he's in jail. So
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Well, I think that you would see, just like with any news event, whatever, you'd see a giant knee-jerk reaction one way or the other, and then it'll correct.
Yep.
It might correct,
It
but
will
if
correct.
we're teetering on because if people are saying we're overbought right now, like the market's like super hot.
I think Trump's overhyped. A lot of the reason our economy is booming isn't a result of his policies. His policies have actually
Right, but nonetheless, the
negatively
economy's-
affect us, but he
Not all of them, man.
most of them have.
Not all
But
of
he,
them.
but he
attribute
covers
it
it
to
up
a
with
person
bullshit.
or not, though, the economy is still doing
It's
well.
still doing
right?
well.
So that is the basis of the market, right?
Well, we are forgetting something that, the topic this month of Masterminds is new construction and building. And the builder said because of Trump's tariffs and some of the things that he's put in
it's hurting
place,
them.
Brutal.
the cost of wood to
Yeah,
build a
the
home
cost
has
of
gone up
everything.
30%.
That's a lot.
The
Because
cost of
most
steel has gone up double.
That's a lot.
Drywall
It's
comes
the
from
cost of
China.
everything.
Right.
The
so
gypsum.
So when he's building a home, he was saying
true.
when we sit down and draw a plan up with a home buyer or they're building a home, he has to say, well, sorry, but this is what it did cost. Now it costs this. So you may not get your extra features that you
Wow,
wanted
right.
in that
So
budget.
it's already affecting us
Yes.
negatively, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the market's resilient. I do believe that, and it will adjust. But
It
I
will.
do think it'll be like a very major market event if he is impeached.
It'll be a huge thing. It'll be a, like Sal said, a knee-jerk reaction. But then people are going to realize there's going to be some changes, right? They're not going to have the crazy child in the White House anymore, and foreign investors are going to start having more confidence in us again.
But
right?
dude, here's
it's going to correct itself.
It will, it will. For everything
Yes.
corrects itself. I totally agree with that. My thing is, as a business owner, I don't know how to solve for such a big X factor in the market. If he gets impeached and the market like super tanks for like a year, I got to be able to think, okay, in that situation, I'm gonna have to figure out how to get through it.
Paul's going to be moonlighting.
Well, bro, if
at
the
mail
you know what
strip
would
clubs.
happen to us if the market tanked?
Wait,
We'd write
so-
1,000 refis, so it doesn't really matter. The reality is that with him being in there,
True.
no matter what you think, whether you think he's a child, whether you think he's great, the economy's still done great.
Well, it's the jobs, dude.
And
Jobs are jobs.
Which is
That's what it
which
As long
is
as we have
still
jobs.
the basis of everything that's tied to the economy right now. This isn't a housing-driven economy. The housing market and the mortgage market right now are driven by the jobs economy. So as long as that stays well,
A lot of people are getting let go right now that is
Yeah.
flying under the radar.
Big time.
I just met with a client yesterday, and he was talking about his girlfriend that works at Flagstar, and they just let off like 400 or 800 people.
Dude, the banking industry
probably 'cause
is in
they're Flagstar,
flux.
though.
It's not just the
Hold
bank-
on. No. Very, very much. Well, it's not just the banking industry, but it is in flux. The banking industry is super in flux. There's going to be a lot of changes. There's mergers happening because there's not the revenues that there were before. Refinances are. There's a lot of things happening in that sector for sure.
But to
Yeah, and
Keith's
then-
point, everything isn't as hunky dory as you think it is based on
pretty
big
good,
media.
man.
A lot of things are
Well, it's
flying
not big
under the
media.
radar.
What big
because there's-
media?
in certain
The things are flying under the radar because there's so many ridiculous things happening in our country every day
but
that
you have
get
to
the
think
top
of it
story.
from
You
this
don't hear about
perspective,
it.
That industries are
hear about
flip-flopping,
Beyonce,
right?
though.
If you think about,
Beyonce.
like Paul said, the banking industry and the finance industry with record low rates and all these people investing and buying and all that, now flipping to a higher interest rate market, of course there's going to be layoffs at Flagstar,
For sure.
right? There's not a reason to have 1,000 LOs.
Well, you look at the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 suppliers. Ford is getting rid of half of their line, really more than half of their line. They're getting rid of the Taurus.
Costing them
'cause,
too much to build.
Part of that
cars.
is efficiencies too. Like
Well, they're getting rid of the Taurus. They're getting rid of the Fusion. They're getting rid of
somebody's buying them.
a couple other
They're
cars.
shitty cars.
Well, people are buying them, but they're getting rid of it because they want the SUV. All they're going to have is trucks, SUVs,
They're getting lean.
the Mustang, and the Focus or
They're
something.
getting lean,
Yeah,
dude.
the
So
Focus is
all
gonna
those
be their
tier 1, tier
passenger
2
car
are
or
now
whatever.
there's one in Shelby or something that just laid off like
because
800 people.
they're smart people that are preparing for the down. They're smart. They're like, dude, it's been hot, but it's they can't, like there's something coming, right? Something's coming. I really believe that something. I don't know if it's a year, 2 years.
Something's
or 3.
always coming. It's like war. It's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Yeah, you're
so,
right. Yeah,
you
you're
know,
right.
I mean, what are we going to do, right? Hide in the bomb shelter till it happens?
No.
I mean, just live your life every single day.
You're right.
Adapt to what happens.
Keep
and
getting business.
If Trump gets impeached or he goes another 4 years, whatever, right? What are you going to do about
Keep
it?
networking, so when it does
Unless you wanna
happen,
sit
you
on the
have
White
a
House lawn with a
giant
sign
blanket
and,
to back
you
you
know,
up.
No, dude, no.
Eat
we're not-
ramen
yeah.
noodles out of a little.
Ramen's
Well,
good.
you could, you know, if you have a tough time, you can always do multi-level marketing stuff. You know, those people that all of a sudden they're selling, potions and lotions.
I'm all
and
over
powders
Primerica
and-
and whatnot.
Yeah, dude, you could just get into that.
Yeah, no.
I'll get on your downline.
Dude,
Paul's
bottom
calling
line
me
is-
to sell me life insurance.
To Sal's point, though, something's always coming.
I don't think he needs to
Something's
call you.
always coming. The key to getting through whatever's coming down the road is to constantly be networking, to go to the real estate
build your
masterminds,
business. That's
build
right.
relationships.
Yeah, you can't live in fear.
You want to build your network to have a giant security blanket to fall back on
Right.
when the shit
If
happens.
I built a giant network for realtors and loan officers, title companies, or whatever, and all of a sudden, boom, for whatever reason, which I don't think would happen if you had a network like that, I have no business. I can't be a loan officer anymore. Well, I still have a network that I could sell cars to, sell Jabra to, or whatever the
Well,
I mean,
you talk about the market crashing in 07, 08, 09. That same thing happened to us as a title company. We were only in existence since 2004. So I was building that up. And when it happened, I had such a network that I could diversify and call those attorneys that I was
Might have to
networking
shrink
with
down
and
a little
calling
bit,
my
but-
connections at major banks and saying, hey, I know we never did business, but now we should do this type of business because you maybe had 4 foreclosures in a year. Now you got 400 a year. Let's work together. We offer foreclosure guarantees, which a lot of people don't know what those are, but you have to go through a title company to say the bank, yes, I can foreclose on this home, and that's $350 each one, right? So we started offering those types of services
Yeah. Well, I
that
think
we never even thought of before.
the longevity in business and probably life in general is the ability to adapt, right? If you stay stuck in your ways and you think that,
You're
well,
gonna
the
keep-
way we
yeah,
do it is the
yeah,
way it should be done,
yeah.
and
You're
that's
gonna
how
end
it's
up
always
like the
going to be.
T-Rex.
Yeah.
So another great reason why you should network, get in front of people, come to Michigan Real Estate Masterminds. I think it's a great avenue for people to honestly meet really good, talented people. I'm new to it, and I'm realizing it's a great network of people, and I'm really excited about it. Thank you again for having us run the Royal Oak chapter of it. I'm really excited to do that.
What's that website again?
Michigan Real Estate Masterminds, LLC.com.
LLC.
Hey, Jessica.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Does Trump get impeached or no?
I mean, probably.
Do you think so?
I don't know.
Do you care?
No, I
You don't give a
I really don't.
Zero.
I'm adjusting.
Whatever's gonna happen
Zero-
is gonna happen,
zero fucks
regardless
given
of
over there.
I
how
like
much
that.
I care.
Yeah.
So.
So thank you everyone for listening. Please find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast Detroit app. Go to
Google
our
Play.
Facebook at Omega Lending. We also do mortgages, by the way.
We do.
Yeah, we
I
do.
don't know when we have time, but
I don't know. So thank you everybody for listening. All 4 of you.
So
We
busy.
love you. Have a wonderful day. Keith, thank you for being on. Please fix your eye. It looks horrendous.
How dare you?
Okay.
He closed with that.
It does look
That's a
better.
jerk
Mic
move.
drop.